All right. Welcome to season 2, episode 3, and actually the third part in our cold calling series. We are joined today by Scott Coleman. He is been with us for 6 months now, about 6 months.
A little longer. Yeah.
All right.
And then you official- see?
Yes, that's right. Well, I forgot because you moved so quickly to the other. You just moved up so quickly, and the reason is the success that you, Bree, and Aaron have been finding with cold calling. And so we spoke with Bree, we spoke with Aaron. Today we are speaking with Scott Coleman. Scott, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us who you are, what you do generally.
Yeah. So as you said, I am on the inside account team, reaching out to people, trying to book meetings. I joined Copy.ai in August of last year, then got officially brought on the team around the same time as Aaron and Bree. So we're all kind of in an official capacity, been here around the same time. And yeah, just doing the damn thing, making calls, trying to book meetings.
What? And I have to ask because I've seen this a lot. I mean, every channel is dead right now, but I do see like cold calling is dead and outbound is dead and all that. And then I laugh because our channel in Slack is consistently filled with like, Scott just booked a demo through a cold call and Bree just booked a demo with this person. It's like blowing my mind. So I want to start at the beginning. We're not going to talk about outbound emails. Let's just talk about the cold calling. What's a day in the life of Scott Coleman look like with regards to cold calling?
Well, as many as I can fit in, right? Because it's a numbers game. So you really want to hit the phones hard. You want to make as many calls as you can, but you also want to make sure that you're calling the right people. You want to make sure you're calling into the right personas. You want to have your messaging together for who you're calling. Really the least gains you're going to get in your day are from truly cold calling. So anything that you can do to make it not an icy cold call is what you're going to want to do beforehand. So you say you don't want to talk about emails, but at the same time, that goes a long way when you're calling in concert with emailing and with connecting with people on LinkedIn. They see your name, they see Copy.ai, even if they just go and just delete the email. If you get them on the phone, they still have that recognition. So it goes a long way. And you can't, it's incredibly hard to cold call as it is, but to have it be the first time they've ever heard of you or heard your name or heard the name of your company, you're making it even harder on yourself if there's zero recognition right out the gate.
And I'm happy to be corrected on that. So it almost sounds like in my world, it'd be like talking about SEO without keyword research. You almost need it in order to move more quickly in the direction you want to go. Is that right?
I don't know how your world works necessarily. So that was kind of, yeah, I'm sure you're picking up what I'm putting down, and it's not just one aspect. You cannot talk about cold calling without talking about, also, having emails in your sequences and connecting on LinkedIn and connecting with as many people as you can, and just trying to create any amount of recognition leading up to your calls.
So walk me through that. Do you you'll shoot out? What's your process? What's the Scott Coleman process? You're going to wake up and you gotta start reaching out to a list of people. What's that look like?
Yeah, well, it depends because any list is not created equal. But if it's purely cold folks that we know have never heard of us, that we know we're starting from scratch, it's really a good move, I feel like, to get on their LinkedIn. You want to obviously research the company, which thankfully Copy.ai does for us in large part, but getting on their LinkedIn, see who they're connected to, see if there's any, like I said a few minutes ago, if there's any amount of warmth that can be manufactured or that you can have leading into that phone call, to be able to have that person pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm Scott with Copy.ai, and I'm calling you because of this, because we may know a similar person, or because you may recognize this, that, whatever the case may be. So when you're looking through a list of people, or you're going through and deciding what sequence to use in outreach or how you want to approach that person, you need to know a little bit about them. You need to know a little bit about their company, and you need to formulate an approach for that phone call. That being said, it is a tough game. Most people are not going to pick up the phone. You have to realize that as well. So do I spend 15 minutes preparing for every phone call, researching each individual extraordinarily thoroughly? No, because I'd be banging my head against the wall, spending an hour to make 4 phone calls and they don't answer. So there, and that's what Aaron probably alluded to, in my approach is like, move with speed, move with velocity, but don't move blindly.
Yeah. Has it ever happened that you got someone picked up and you're like, oh shit, I don't know who this person is. What am I doing?
Thankfully, I am pretty good flying by the seat of my pants. So I think you have to have that if you want to have success cold calling or as a BDR in our role. You just have to be able to kind of not fake it till you make it, but be able to make a conversation interesting on the fly, and that also comes down to preparation. So you need to not only be prepared for who you're talking to, but what you're talking about. If you don't know what you're selling, if you don't know the product, then what are you going to say to this person? Even if you get them interested in having a conversation with you, you need to be able to talk about Copy.ai. You need to be able to talk about what you're selling and why you're excited about it and why they should be excited about it.
And I want to talk really quickly about that idea of excitement, because I do think that I use the word energy loosely, not like energy like with crystals and stuff like that. We won't get into the hippie stuff. I mean more energy of just like positive, negative. This person sounds bummed out when I pick up the phone. This person sounds angry when I pick up the phone. This person's happy. How do you consistently bring excitement and positive energy after 19 people just told you to screw off? Like, how do you do that from cold call consistently? That blows my mind.
Yeah. Well, the short answer is you don't. It's just not possible to be like super uber happy-go-lucky every single time you're about to make a phone call. But if you feel your mood slipping, if you feel your energy waning, then the best thing to do is take a moment for, get up, walk around. I work from home. I have my 2 kids at home still. So go spend a little time with the kids and,
Take it off.
reset the mood. But yeah, you have to be very, very self-aware to know when you're not in the right mind space to have a good conversation with anybody.
Yeah.
Right. Because sometimes you can just get locked in and want to just get through your call list and, you're getting turned down or people are mean. Sometimes it happens. So if someone's mean to you, you'd like to say it doesn't affect you, but anybody's going to be affected by that. So, and anybody's going to be affected by a bunch of no's in a row. So you just got to know yourself and know how to kind of when you might need to get away from the computer and put the headset down for a minute and refocus your energy and recenter yourself.
That makes a lot of sense. And I'm curious. I got 2 more questions for you. This one, and for anybody listening, by the way, Scott had 0 preparation for this conversation. I like to just have raw, surprise, jump scare podcast recordings, specifically to get as much of the real unprepared answers as I can. And this is exactly what I'm shooting for. I would be curious, what's your hook? Or how do you approach the hook? Or does it change every time?
Yeah, it's it can be mood dependent, honestly. Like sometimes you want to try different things. Sometimes you want to come at people with a fresh approach. It doesn't often change in this role, but I've heard for other roles, it does depend on who you're calling into. Like highly technical people are not going to want some kind of like foo-foo opening where you're trying to like get them to open up or laugh or something. But with most folks, I do something along the lines of, if it's like a cold call, because again, any sort of manufactured warmth, that's what you lead with. You want them to know why you're calling or why you have a legitimate reason for calling them. But a purely cold call where I don't know if they've seen my emails, I don't know if they know Copy.ai. It's something along the lines of, hey, Scott with Copy.ai, how you doing? I always ask how people are doing. I don't want to just like jump right into a pitch. But yeah, so just to get ahead of it, this is a sales call. You can go ahead and hang up on me if you would like, but if not, I'll try to make it as interesting of a 2 minutes as possible. I'll just take a little bit of your time. What do you say? Something like that. That was a bit verbose, but something along those lines.
I would not hang up on that because you invited me to hang up and then I'd feel like the jerk. That'd be like,
right. Guilt trip. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. That usually gets a laugh and just kind of opens them up. And a lot of people actually say, hey man, you know what? used an opening like that before. So I respect I respect the game, and yeah, let me hear what you got. So yeah, it's always fun to try like different iterations of that that opening, you know.
Well, and now I'm curious, are you nicer to cold callers when they call you?
Yeah, thankfully I don't get too many because
Okay.
my role does not dictate any sort of attention from outsiders. But yeah, I'm pretty forgiving. Although I have been getting a lot of spam calls lately, so if I got a legitimate one like now, I probably wouldn't even pick up the phone or just be like, "Please leave me alone. I'm getting too many of these right now." So,
Oh, I love it. Oh, well, hopefully in the future. Okay. Last question. Let's say I'm either considering getting started in a sales role, or I just started out, I'm feeling discouraged. What advice would you give me to kind of pick myself up from the bootstraps and be like, no, okay, I could do this. I just got to change the approach, or I just got to, what advice would you give a discouraged sales rep who has just a list of calls to make in a day?
yeah, I mean, it's kind of similar to what I said earlier is like, fine, you need to know yourself. You need to know how to get yourself in a good mood. Go outside and take a walk, get some sunlight, get some exercise. I mean, sometimes I'll just like hop up and do some push-ups and get my blood flowing and get, reset your mentality however you need to do that. Whether sometimes I just close my eyes for a few minutes and just try to get some peace and quiet. Sometimes I go play with the kids. You just have to have a level of self-awareness. And don't try to fight through the bad feeling by doing nothing or just keeping on. That's the one thing that I try really hard not to do is if I catch myself after a certain phone call being like, man, this sucks. I don't just keep going. So, do something to get yourself out of it. But you got to know, I can't tell you what that'll be. You have to know for yourself what is going to turn your mood around, grab a snack, have an ice cream sandwich, Nathan.
I need to get ice cream sandwiches and I don't even have to talk to anybody throughout the day. I can do it. It's awesome. Well,
Happens to everybody in every role, every job.
thank you so much. If people wanted to reach out to you, LinkedIn would be a good place to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool. All right. Thank you so much.